Good evening and welcome to Ville News. I'm Christa alongside Xavier Goodall, here to give you the latest local, state, and national headlines.
Coming up, we have updates on the jet crash and NIH cuts. Stay tuned because Ville News starts now.
One person has died and 4 injured after 2 business-sized jets collided on the runway at Scottsdale Airport in Arizona. The plane was coming from Austin, Texas, belonged to Motel Crew frontman and Vince Neil, who was not aboard the plane. His plane veered off the runway at 2:39 p.m. due to faulty landing equipment and hit a parked plane that was adjacently parked on private property. No one aboard the parked plane was injured, as both planes was owned by JetPros. JetPros made a statement saying, and I quote, "Internal damages were sustained to the aircraft," end quote. 2 of the 4 injured were in critical condition. One's condition is unknown and the other refused medical attention. The person who passed away was a civilian on the ground. Flights were paused for the rest of the day, according to the FAA.
On Monday, a federal judge in Massachusetts blocked the Trump administration from making NIH cuts. This came after California and 21 other Democratic states sued on the basis that the action would hurt Americans who benefit from the medical research that has led to life-saving discoveries. U.S. District Judge Angel Kelly granted a temporary restraining order, suggesting that she agreed that the drastic NIH cuts cause irreparable harm. The case continues in court, with the next hearing being scheduled for February 21st. All states and universities affected by the current court case are also ordered to report back within 24 hours of the ruling with their status and follow up every 2 weeks to verify cash flow.
When we get back, updates on the Super Bowl champions and a Pennsylvania man's freedom from Russia. Ville News will be right back. The city of brotherly love bled green Sunday night. The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions once again. The celebration following their 40-22 victory over the Kansas City Chiefs was nothing short of legendary. The moment the clock hit 0, thousands of fans flooded Broad Street, turning downtown Philly into a sea of green. Despite the city's repeated warnings, the passion and energy of the Eagles fans couldn't be contained. Some fans went as far as pulling traffic poles straight off the ground after Philadelphia's Mayor Cheryl Parker made it clear no climbing the poles this year. Mayor Parker's message was clearly not received. Philadelphia police took extreme measures to control the crowds, blocking off major entry and exit points to Broad Street. The Philadelphia Eagles championship parade is officially set for Friday, February 14th, Valentine's Day. What better way to celebrate love than with the love of Philly's football team? The parade route and official details are still being finalized, but expect a massive crowds of fans line the streets to celebrate with the Super Bowl heroes.
Pennsylvania teacher Mark Fogel, who has been wrongfully detained in Russia since 2021, is finally heading home. Fogel was detained in a Russian airport in August of 2021 when security found him carrying 17 grams of marijuana in his luggage. Fogel said that the marijuana was medical and came from a doctor's recommendation to help treat chronic pain. Russian authorities convicted Fogel to 14 years in prison. However, the U.S. government determined Fogel was wrongfully detained. Lawmakers across the state made an effort for Fogel's release. National Security Advisor Mark Waltz says that Fogel's release was a show of good faith from the Russians, but did not release details. Fogel is expected to be back in America by Tuesday night.
When we get back, we'll have updates on a row home fire and an underground railroad site. Ville News will be right back. On Sunday, February 8th, a row home in the 300 block of West Cottage Place in New York City caught on fire just before 6 p.m. The flames spread through a common roof. According to York City Fire Chief Bill Sleeger, flames fully engulfed the home. Crews took around 45 minutes to control the blaze. Sleeger said that there were a total of 8 row homes that were damaged in the fire. All of these homes have been condemned. Landlord Jennifer Rule said, and I quote, "Nobody should have to go through this. I had a tenant who was in the shower standing outside in a towel," end quote. According to the American Red Cross, at least 32 adults and 16 children were displaced. Luckily, no one was hurt in the fire. The cause remain under investigation.
A site of the Underground Railroad near Lancaster County is slated to open to the public this spring. Mifflin Farm is a 79-acre farm located in Wrightsville in York County, including the Mifflin House, a refuge for escaped slaves seeking freedom via the Underground Railroad. Mifflin Farm was also the site of a Civil War battle during 1863's Gettysburg Campaign. The site is planned to have walking trails to explore the site, as well as a museum to house the Susquehanna River art. The Susquehanna National Heritage Area also plans to include a Discovery Center and a Heritage Park. Mark Platts, the president of the SNHA, stated, quote, "The Mifflin House is a beacon of cultural significance in this region, serving as a touchstone for a broader narrative of our nation's history," end quote. And continued on to say, quote, "We look forward to the public visiting this important site and learning more about the Underground Railroad in Pennsylvania," end quote. Mifflin Farm is located in Wrightsville, Pennsylvania, just over the Susquehanna River.
And that's all we have on this week's episode for Ville News. Thanks for watching, and make sure to tune in next week for the latest local, state, and national headlines.